Curtis King.
What's going on with you music producers? It's Curtis King of Curtis King TV, and today I'm making a tutorial to show you how to use drum breaks. Can you believe I've never made a video like this before? But shout out to Dominic Harris. For drum breaks, I'm still trying to figure out how to use them. Now, there's three primary reasons why I might use drum breaks. First one being, some producers have these great sound selections and these nasty, snappy, gritty drums that just sound so good when they're processed. And so I kind of want to borrow those textures. Another reason, as a sample-based producer, sometimes I really enjoy chopping to different drum rhythms and drum pockets. And as I'm chopping these samples, sometimes a snare would just be a little bit off the grid, or a kick will be just a little bit too fast, and that'll inspire a different type of sample chopping. Third reason, I like to utilize drum breaks sometimes to just jumpstart my beats. They really help me to get into a flow just that much quicker whenever somebody has at least taken care of that instead of me spending 30 minutes on one snare. So we're going to be using FL Studio obviously to go through this, but the same thing can be applied to pretty much any DAW. I have a sample here from the homie Aaron Barber. Let me play it for you. It's at 86 beats per minute. Now, the session is set at 86 beats per minute. I like to utilize drum breaks that fit as close to that BPM as possible. Now, you could obviously break that rule for your own sound, but I like to use drums that stay in their natural element and keep that flow going. Second, I like to use drums that also don't take away from the energy of the sample. This sample feels like it just needs some straightforward drums that just sit right there and assist the melody. So let's go ahead and play through some and see if any catch my ear. I think that's the one. Let's go ahead and drag that here on the playlist. Double click it, right click here so you can open up the audio in Edison. Once you open it up in Edison, then you'll be able to get a clear picture of where the kick and the snares are at, and then we can build the beat out from there. So I'm holding down the left clicker to basically drag over this audio, and I'm trying to get pretty close to the beginning of this kick, but not so much that it just cuts off the kick's oxygen. I want to leave a little bit of air. So as I'm running through the drums, I like to actually have the melody playing in my head and imagine how these drums are hitting over it. That also helps to let me know where the loop is going to stop. 2, 3, 2, 3, So I know the kick is going to come right back here. And it's up to you how much of the drum break you want to use. Some producers do a really good job of giving variation for their drum breaks. Stolen Drums is definitely one of those. So you kind of want to let these ride out. All right, so I know it ends here. You just want to make sure that when you loop it around, you don't hear any clipping at the end. That usually happens when you're cutting a sound off too quickly, or you're just putting it in an awkward place on the waveform. And you can do that literally by using your mouse wheel to zoom in and see where it's at. All right, now that we have that, let's drag that right into the session. And now just looking at it, we can see that there's two loops that are going on here in this sample, but the drums are falling short of one of the loops. How do we get that extended? Clicking here on the menu and going to Fit to Tempo. They're asking us what range is our actual tempo for the beats, and we're saying that it's between 50 to 100, so let's click here. Now this should technically put us right on the BPM. Let's go ahead and check it. Oh, that's nasty. Now, another way to utilize your drum breaks is to actually use the tools that come in your DAW. For instance, we're going to use Fruity Slicer in much the same way we would do a sample, except that we're going to use it to basically identify the kicks and snares and then let us play them however we want to play them. So first step, open up Fruity Slicer. Make sure you take off the auto dump feature so that it doesn't just place your drums all across there. And we're going to just drag this sample that we got out of that Edison loop right into FL Slicer. All right, next thing we need to do is go over here to the slice menu, and then let's just do sharp auto slicing. I usually do beat, but we're gonna do this for this one. So that's a hi-hat, kick, snare. So now let's play it with the sample. This is so fun. Oh my God, I love doing this. Now, for those of you that are more familiar with utilizing drum breaks right here on the playlist, a third way to do it is to just manually chop it. You can literally look at the waveforms and know which ones are the kicks and which ones are the snares. The snares usually have a thicker waveform. The kicks usually have a little bit of a slimmer tail end to them. Now, the primary tool we're going to be using is this slice tool up here in the menu bar. And we're going to basically chop these the same way we did in Fruity Slicer. So if you hold down Shift and then click on the left clicker on your mouse, that'll basically give you a cut right there. Let's do the cut according to the lines here. So let's see what this sounds like when I play it and I actually double up this snare. So you want to add a couple of kicks here just where the snare would usually go. Use drum breaks? Are there other unique ways that I didn't cover that you utilize them? Leave them down below in the comments. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Shout out to my patrons. Make sure you go check out Ugly Breaks 3 by the homie Stolen Drums and have a good one. Peace.